Okay, we're doing it. We're doing all of the inner work. We are doing the shadow work. We're doing the journaling. We're doing the meditations. We're going on the retreats. We're having these new realizations. But I think that we don't talk about the process of integrating enough. We don't talk about when we learn all of these things, we have new insight, we have enlightenment, we are starting to make new choices, but it's tough to be in familiar spaces and to be able to make new choices so that we are generating new results out of life. A lot of times we go back and forth between our old life, our familiarities, our the environment that we know, and everything is new. Once we start to do this really deep work and work with plant medicines and open up our consciousness in all of these beautiful ways, we can never really go back to who we were. We can never really see things the way that they've always been. We are seeing things with new eyes, right? Therefore, we are challenged to make new choices. And this is the part that's not talked about enough. I think that this is the process of having realizations, knowing everything that we know, and putting it into work, taking the action to become this new person, to walk in these new shoes when we have had this grand realization from however that comes to you, from working with plant medicines or doing really deep meditations that cause you to have new realizations every day. When we have these brand new eyes, we are fresh, we are revived, but there's a back and forth every day, a shift of having the realizations and being in the old body. We have to take different steps every day, daily steps that allow us to align with a new purpose, a new path, a new version of ourselves. And that's not easy. Currently, I'm in Thailand. It's about 9 a.m. here. And it's taken a while for me personally to come to a place where I feel I am stepping up, showing up in a way that I feel fits my new perspective, if that makes sense. And so if that happens for you, know that it's okay. Know that it takes daily action, daily choices that are different from the ones that you've been making, so that however you picture yourself in this new version of yourself, this new embodied, enlightened version of yourself that you see that is different from who you were when you started the inner work, has to be molded and shifted by the actions, by the choices you make every day. So I came out here to Thailand and I love it. It's pretty hot and humid, but I'm used to that being from Atlanta, where the summers can get really hot. I'm sure that you've heard how people come out here to reduce their cost of living, and that is the truth. And it's so helpful, especially when you want to budget. It's especially beneficial when you want to be somewhere that is not overcharging you for everything and you want to just take a break from the American economic system that is robbery. Take your time with this process. Take your time with wanting to show up as someone new, wanting to have a new experience in your reality. These things take time. The amount of time it takes is up to you and the amount of work you put in, obviously. But the actionable steps are there. And the more steps you take toward this ultimate goal, this dream life that you imagine is possible after having some sort of enlightenment, right? We just have to keep our focus on that vision and make the choices that lead us to it step by step. That's the only way. And it's a very special process. It's like this in-between moment. And I suppose I'm speaking from experience right now, just being in it, being in the transition of becoming someone new. I just left Mexico before coming here to Thailand. I was in Mexico for about a month. And while I was there, I participated in a Bufo ritual in Tulum, a Bufo DMT sacred ritual that is medicine that is expelled from the glands of a toad. The secretion is expelled and dried on a slab and broken down, and it's taken and put into a pipe that is then lit with fire and inhaled. The smoke is inhaled, and I gotta say, it's pretty intense, especially coming from me, from someone who has worked with plant medicines for years now in many different forms of DMT as well. This Bufo ritual opened up so much for me, so much. I was able to release so much, and from having done that deep inner work, from having been shown this form of enlightenment that seems so grand and so, it seems like a lot to comprehend, and therefore is a lot to integrate. I find myself coming down on myself when I want to move a little faster and I want to go ahead and make the reality that I've seen come to fruition and manifest everything that I can imagine in my mind right now, because I've seen it. But we have to be careful with that. The process of integration is important to remember, because this is the process that is going to create longer lasting change. In between Mexico and Thailand, I went back to my hometown in Atlanta, and being back in my familiar environment, I could tell everything was different. Even though what I was seeing was familiar, I was different. Therefore, my reactions are different. My perception of what I was seeing and experiencing was different. I became much more of an observer, which is what happens when you have different forms of enlightenment. You question yourself. You're observing your thoughts, and you're noticing the recurring ones that no longer serve you, that are not helpful, and you say, okay, what is that? Why do I think that way? And that's when you get to change it. Becoming aware of something is the only way to change. I truly believe that. And so having the awareness with grace, not beating yourself up about things that you realize are not good anymore, just looking at them, observing them with curiosity and love, and making shifts, making different choices that allow you to have a new experience. Drink water. Drink lots of water to replenish this newness. And I just wanted to come here to remind anyone else who's going through a shift, who's going through a transition that has come from a deep, profound sense of enlightenment. Give yourself grace during this period of realization and integration of all the things that you want, all the desires that you know to be possible and attainable and tangible in this life. being able to bring them into your experience step by step, day by day, will take time. Forget about the pressures of having to show up in a certain way. The biggest thing that we can take away from our enlightenment and having deep, profound inner experiences is holding them with love. All of the shifts and twists and turns, all of the goodness that you start to exude, the light that you start to show, and all of the darkness and the things that you look at and you see that are not attractive, that you want to change. Look at those parts with love too, because they got you to where you are. They led you to the experience. Everything has value, is what I'm trying to say. Being here in Thailand is very healing for me, and I plan to take you along this journey of how I move through this myself, how I am transitioning into a new phase of life that serves me better, that fits this new version that I see for myself. And I've done this many times. I've been through many lifetimes over the past 7 to 10 years, different phases, different eras, different realizations that have led me to make drastic changes. And if you are not afraid of change and you want to take the bold step toward having different experiences in life that you could have only dreamed of, that you feel are now possible because of the inner work that you've done. Because at the end of the day, it all starts with you and ends with you. And every influence that you experience, every situation that you're able to see, the mirror that you're reflecting, all comes from you. So when you make the changes, everything else changes. From your perspective, your reactions, your environment, the people you're around, the people you remove yourself from. It all has to happen. So give it time, be graceful with yourself, and keep cleansing, keep doing the work, keep journaling, keep focusing on that grand vision, because it's all possible. Anything you want is possible, because our minds, our brains, our ability to shift our reality is so powerful. And I wish you the best in your endeavors with doing that. I really do, because it's tough. I'm here to tell you, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Every time, it's worth it. On the other side, to see yourself and say, wow, I really got through that. I really am someone that I don't recognize in a good way. Thank you for listening. I'm Akila if you are just now joining, and if you like my vibe, you can like and subscribe and just keep up with my adventures and realizations that I can share with you, things that I wish I knew, things that I have learned over time in my deep work with wellness, mind, body, and spirit. And I invite you to join me on this journey. Until next time.